we are counting down to the announcement of the next expansion. Almost every day they have been releasing, they've been teasing us with a new elite specialization icon. And so the community has been like on fire, like theorizing on which icon could go to which class, what they could be. And there was one revealed yesterday that we have to talk about. And then there was a blog post posted like half an hour ago. So I haven't seen anything in the blog post yet. It's talking about like a look back at Janthir Wilds, which will be really cool because it's always interesting to see like what they learned from doing that expansion, what they were aiming for, with the devs experience on making the expansion and then the player feedback on the expansion. So, and then they said also a peek at what's to come. If you missed it, here is Gambit Spec. Gambit Spec, Thief, probably 100% Gambler. And then this was yesterday's. They revealed this one yesterday. It immediately looks like some kind of face. It looks like a Mordrum or something to me. I responded to the Blue Sky post and said Mordrumancer. That's my guess. Ranger. See, a lot of people saying shield, so a lot of people think maybe warrior. People were saying warrior main hand shield. Oh, necro, like that's some kind of new bone minion or something. Oh, I didn't even consider that. I didn't consider that. That's a good observation. Teeth mech, NG teeth mech. No, I'm 100% convinced that NG is metallurgist, especially because if you've seen people are going full conspiracy theory on this, and this is amazing. Apparently the Chinese announcement of these on their social media, what's it called, a Bilibili, something like that, has little like poems, people have been calling them, attached to each picture that give you a clue as to what it is. We didn't get anything like that, but apparently the Chinese client did, and people are like going and like doing like translations of the Chinese like little blurb that we get with each of these, and it does very much support metallurgist. Thank you very much. This is the blog post that came out today. So we're gonna I don't think we're gonna get an elite spec teaser today, but we got a blog post which supposedly teases some other stuff. So let's read the blog post. I have not seen any of this yet. I haven't seen any of this. Hey, a blog post. You mean a blog post? You mean a bog post? A bog blog? Blah blah. Bog blog? Blogger blog. Bog blog. From the wilds to what's next. With the final content update for Guild Wars 2 Janthir Wilds now live, we've officially wrapped our 5th expansion, which is the second built under the annual release model we introduced in early 2023. We've been listening to your feedback and acting on it. In this blog, we'll share how those lessons are shaping our next expansion and the changes you can expect to see. This will give you helpful context as we unveil our next expansion next week, of course, when I'm going on vacation. No thanks for that, but that's how it goes. Peachy goes on vacation, exciting things are announced, but that's okay. I will be here Tuesday. I'm delaying my vacation a day so I could be here on Tuesday to check out the new expansion announcement with y'all. Guild Wars 2 Janthir Wilds delivered a lot in a short amount of time. That's true. That's very true. That momentum was only possible because of your passion, creativity, and honest feedback. Honest, critical, but constructive feedback. Let's make that very clear. Constructive feedback. I mean, Peachy can get salty too. Peachy can get very salty about things, but it's all constructive. It's all in the interest of wanting the game to improve. So remember that it's okay not to like something. It's okay not to think that something doesn't work, but always give that feedback in a constructive manner or just a plain "I didn't like this" manner, never in the form of an attack on anybody. It's just a video game, and yes, we want it to be the best it can be, but always give that feedback in a constructive manner. Things like personal attacks on devs, none of that is ever constructive. None of that is ever acceptable. Salt should be used as seasoning, not as food. Exactly. Exactly. Finding the right rhythm. Guild Wars 2 Janthir Wilds launched in August of last year, followed by 3 quarterly updates. After the first of those updates arrived in November 2024, we heard consistent feedback from the community. The additional story content felt too short, and the lack of a new open world map made the update feel noticeably light. But they told us in advance that there wasn't going to be a new map for the November update. They did tell us that in advance, especially after what happened in Soto with the first update being like a third of a map, and then you just get more of that same map and then more of that same map, right? I did like Janthir's release better. For our next expansion, we're refining that structure to give each update more depth and impact. The first quarterly release after the expansion's launch will not include new story or map content. Eh? Instead, it will focus on updates to core systems and long-standing features. This approach gives us the space to revisit foundational elements of the game, improvements that support the long-term health of Guild Wars 2, and reflect the design philosophy outlined in the Building Smarter, Not Bigger section below. Yes, there's been some fantastic interviews with Grouch and Colin and a lot of the game directors, they really talked about how that was their foundation of in the entirety of Guild Wars is build smarter, not bigger. Don't just add stuff. Don't just put hats on hats. Make each hat better, right? Um, Very interesting. No news story for the first quarterly release. It makes sense for the first quarterly release. If they're going to pack more story into the second two, that makes more sense because the first release always has the biggest chunk, right? And then you have like probably an equal amount of story spread between 3 more updates, which makes each of them individually feel smaller, right? And like, kind of a that's it. So if you, and again, I love them just being transparent, telling us in advance, okay, the first one will focus on updates, and I'm sure they're going to be very exciting, foundational updates to the game quality of life, as if we don't have so much quality of life in the game already. So they're going to improve existing systems, and of course, if we're getting elite specs, then we'll be still playing with all of our elite specs, and maybe that some of that will be a part of that first update, and so things will still feel new, even though we're not getting a new story or a new map with that first update. I'm not upset about that at all. Yeah, I'm not upset about that at all. Is this new? That's a lot of mountains. That's some scale. Look at how tiny. Look how tiny they are. Wow, look how the mountain looks like it's shining like in the light. Man, hope you have a sky scale. Dare I say Utopia-esque? By focusing on story and map development in the second and third quarterly updates, we're able to make those releases more robust and satisfying. Each will introduce a larger, more content rich map and a longer, more fully developed story than what players saw in the equivalent Janthir Wilds updates. This approach allows for more complete and satisfying story arcs, and it results in a net increase in total content delivered over the course of the expansion. Excellent. I'm all for it. I'm all for that. Yes. More story per update, even though one of the quarterly updates will not have new story, but it'll have new other stuff. I'm perfectly happy with that. I agree 100% with that. Yep, less updates but more story per update. Yeah, I definitely think that'll allow them to just tell more meaty story per update, more for us to chew on, more just more opportunity than 3 story instances because it's been 3 chapters. with each of the quarterly updates after the initial one. And it's just, yeah, it's not enough. It's not enough. Now, that's for those of us who are playing it on launch. Because if you play it after it's already out and you're playing just everything right in a row, you're not going to feel those tiny bite-sized chunks, to be fair. So if you go back and play Soto in whole, if you go back and play Janthir in whole, I haven't done it, but I've seen others do it, and it is, you know, more complete. It flows better because you're not just taking these tiny story chunks and then you have to wait 3 months for more, right? And it, you know, so it is much better if you're going back and playing the whole thing all at once. But, you know, those of us who are the most invested in Guild Wars 2 and playing it the second it comes out and then waiting 3 months, you know, you know, it leaves us with that sense of incompleteness, you know, or, oh, wow, I really wish there was more, right? So I think this is great. Building smarter, not bigger. One of our biggest priorities right now, and likely for years to come, is untangling years of accumulated system complexity. That means streamlining overlapping features, reducing technical debt, and reinforcing what makes Guild Wars 2 shine. This complexity doesn't just slow us down behind the scenes, it also makes onboarding harder for new and returning players, even in areas designed for seasoned adventurers like endgame PvE. Yes. I've played this game for almost 6,000 hours since pre-launch day, since the beta, right? And I play every release the second it comes out. And I still, to this day, get very confused on what's a strike mission versus a dragon response mission versus a convergence, you know, versus a raid versus a dungeon versus a fractal. There's all these things, right? And like, even I get very confused. Like, someone will say like, oh, you have to do the dragon response missions. And I'm like, where do I go to get those? What are those? Like, is that a strike mission? Is that something different? Like there's all of these different things now, and I get so confused, even as a veteran player. Unless you're actively playing that content, I'm just like, what is this? Where do I go? Like, it's like you need the wiki, or a guide video. My number one, as far as like them saying we're going to expand and improve existing systems, please, for the love of God, the looking for group system is so powerful yet so hidden in the game. Please, please update, rework, make very, very visible the looking for group system. It's the whole point of an MMO, is let's get together and do these things. But people are, you know, using outside resources and overlays and mods to, even figure out where to go or what to do or when thing. Like, yes, there's gem store items that'll say, hey, just Shatterer's coming up. There are those things available and they're really nice. But like, why is the LFG 12 years into this game so hidden? Why is it so hidden? Like, it should be, even in its current state, it should be an icon. Those icons in the upper left-hand corner of the screen. Why is it not one of those icons? I don't understand. I literally don't understand why it's not one of those icons. It should be like right next to the gem store. Like, oh my God, why? Why? No. You have to click the social button or whatever it's called, and then it's a tab. It'll open up your friends list by default when you push that icon. And then like the second or third tab is LFG. Why? Why? I forget it exists. Again, someone who's played this game for 6,000 hours. I forget it exists. And even then, every single time I go to use it, I always do something wrong. I try to like make a group and I'm typing like in to search and like it's confusing. Oh my God, please rework that. Please rework that and make it more visible. That is like the number one thing this game needs as far as like getting players together to do stuff. Please. My favorite like matchmaking system in an MMO was Blade and Soul, actually, which is NCSoft, because it hyped me up. dungeon lobby is so cool. I always love this. It like pumps you up. You're like, yeah, we're gonna do a dungeon. There we go. Boom. There's our group. Easy peasy. That was instant. Now, it doesn't have to be a separate screen, but basically, if you wanted to be matched with others to do a dungeon, it was a whole separate menu that you would go into, and you would pick your dungeon, or you would pick 3 dungeons. You would pick up to 3 different dungeons that you wanted to do. So you could say, you know, match me with the first one that's available. So already very nice. And then it would put your character on this screen where you would see your character big on the screen with the 3 other players that it would match you with. And it was like really cool music. And, you know, you would see your character big and beautiful on the screen. And then you would see the other people as they loaded into your party, big and beautiful on the screen with this hyped up music. And you're ready to go and do this dungeon. It was so good. Oh, I loved matchmaking. I loved just the matchmaking screen in Blade and Soul because it hyped me up and made me excited. Because I was like, we're going to do this dungeon. Let's go. Oh, look at these people. Look at their fashion. You know, oh, what's that they have? Oh, I want to, you know, go try and get that. Like, it was so good. It lets you see other players' characters up and big and bold and beautiful. Oh, it was great. You know, and I haven't played Blade and Soul for 10 years, and it still sticks in my mind as a very exciting matchmaking system. In our upcoming July 15th release, we're doubling the decoration area limit from 200. Oh, like next week, doubling it again. We're doubling the decoration area limit from 200 to 400. Oh, this directly addresses one of the most common requests we've heard from you. You can also expect to see continued support for the Homesteads feature in our next expansion as we build on this foundation. Whoa, because now in Absolution, they increased the total decoration limit. This is area limit. That's huge. That's arguably even more huge, from 200 to 400. Wow, nice. Want to change the main homestead design? That's been my question. Is the next expansion going to give us a different map? Is there going to be like a new homestead map? I wonder. You know, that is on theme for the next expansion, right? Kind of like a guild hall. Like you got another guild hall that you had the option of switching to when the other expansions came out. So I'm wondering if they're going to do the same thing with the homestead. New tricks for every trade. Over the past 2 expansions, we've expanded options for combat by giving you more tools to customize your builds and play your way. With our next expansion, we're taking the next step. Elite specializations are making a return, this time designed to work together with the flexible build crafting system we've been refining over the past few years. However, these new specializations won't come with dedicated weapons. I saw that as a prediction, and I was like, yes, I bet that's very possible. I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. I'm not entirely bummed either. We already have so many weapons, but that means they get to design them a little bit differently, you know? And I'm very excited to see what that is. Instead, each one introduces unique profession mechanics, a new trait line, utility skills, an elite skill, a healing skill, and distinct playstyles without locking you into a specific weapon or equipment loadout. These new specializations are designed to feel fresh, fun, and unique to Guild Wars 2 while building on the systems you already know and love. We'll have more to share soon. Imagine dragon hunting with a spear and a longbow. That's what I play. That's what I play right now. I play a dragon hunter with a spear and a longbow. I switch between spear and greatsword for my melee weapon, but I always have longbow. But here's the thing: even though I'm married to longbow, I don't have to be a dragon hunter anymore. I do love my traps. That's why I'm still dragon hunter. I love my traps. So I would have to give those up if I switched. But I would, if I switched to like, I love the Firebrand tomes. I love that mechanic. I wouldn't have to give up my longbow. Oh, 3 swappable weapons. That would be, oh, I would love that. Yes, give me 3 swappable weapons. Then I can have longbow, spear, and greatsword. Yes, please. Yes, please. Challenging the challengers. The launch of the Malt Balrior raid wasn't just a development milestone for us. With both legendary and challenge modes, it was a long-awaited return for players eager to take on high-end group content. Most recently, we returned to our encounter design roots with Kinfall, a new fractal designed in direct response to player feedback. With Kinfall, we stepped back from the raid-like complexity of recent fractals and focused instead on creating a streamlined, repeatable experience that captures the feel of early favorites. I think they did really well with Kinfall. Yeah, it's like it's short, it's sweet. There's not like a, super hard raid encounter at the end of it. It's a good mix with like the other recent fractals. Cool. All right, what comes next? Janthir Wilds helped us learn where to push harder, where to simplify, and how to better listen to the needs of our players. Your feedback didn't just resonate with us, it reshaped how we're thinking about the game and how we're building what's coming next. You definitely can tell with each release, and I love these blog posts. You can definitely tell that they do take player feedback with a fairly quick turnaround time too with these yearly expansions. They'll change up the whole, saying that the story releases, the quarterly story releases seem too short, right? And leave us feeling unsatisfied, and so they're changing it in the next expansion, right? It makes you feel heard as a player that these changes do come. They and it's a big risk to do something. Even in Janthir Wilds, it was a big risk to say, all right, the first quarterly update will not have a new map, right? And it's a big risk in this next expansion to say, okay, the first quarterly update will come with no new map or no new story, right? That's a big risk to take, but if it makes the subsequent releases more robust, which is what people want, right? Then I think it's going to be very, very worth it. And I 100% agree with the decision. Mark your calendar. You'll get your first look at the next expansion on July 15th. Thanks again for your passion, your support, and your belief in this world and in the people who bring it to life. See you next week, Josh Davis, Game Director. P.S. Thanks for reading this far. Here's another tease for your troubles. I haven't seen this yet. Oh my god. Oh my god. It's a Paragon. And a Ritualist. Green Necromancer? Necromancer? Necromancer, Ritualist, and Warrior Paragon is what that looks like. Wow. I wish people wouldn't have spoiled it in chat. Thanks, guys. Oh my god, that artwork. Wow. Is that a Canthan spirit? I feel like this is a character I should know. Enhance, enhance. That's the spirits from Cantha. Oh man. Guardian lost. No. I wanted Paragon for Guardian. Wow. Does that mean we're getting we literally talked about this. Does that mean we're getting Assassin and Dervish? Do you think we'll get Dervish? Who would be Dervish? I think Revenant. If Thief gets Assassin, does that mean the cards aren't Thief? Dervish is very human gods. That's true. What's interesting about this is one from Nightfall and one from Factions from Guild Wars 1. Yeah, so the winged helmet was probably Warrior Paragon, was one of the symbols Necro Ritualist. That's a good question. I'm so jealous. I might have to play my warrior might have to come out of retirement just to play Paragon. That's amazing artwork. Oh my god. I can't wait to see the rest.
I loves that bushy tail on the new Necro Squirrel. Also, yay original GWCL kitten coming back.
Necro squirrel. It does look like a squirrel. Stop. Now I can't unsee that. Dekrill, thank you for using your Prime sub. Please remember, guys, when pre-orders open, most likely next Tuesday for the new expansion, please use a ArenaNet Partners referral link. It helps us out immensely. So whoever you want to support, go find their link and please use their link to pre-order the new expansion. Or to buy any of the expansions at any time. It doesn't just work for pre-orders. It works for buying any expansion at any time, including pre-ordering the new one.